Okay, starting again today. Today is February 3rd, 2021, a Wednesday, and yep, maybe I'll get to 20 today, we'll see. So today I'm going to talk about something I learned about recently. So, duty ethics, or something to do with some guy named Kant. Basically, the idea behind duty ethics is that Kant thought that the only the moral thing to do is an action that aligns both your will, which is your motivation to do an action, and your duty, which is, I don't know, something. Align your will and duty. And so, for example, a morally right thing to do according to basically Kant doesn't care about the consequences. He cares about, did you have the right intention? Something like that, I think. At least my interpretation of it. So, for example, a morally right thing to do would be to... So say a child is drowning and you jump into the pool to save the child. If you jump into the pool to save the child, because you see it and then you act and you do it based on your instincts, right? You feel like it's the right thing to do, that's morally right. But if you were to jump into the pool to save the child, and you do manage to save the child, but the reason why you jumped in was you knew if you save this child, you're going to be a hero in the news and you'll become famous. Then that would, even though you had the exact same consequences, exact same results, one would be morally wrong and one would be morally right. You can always guess. The first one Kant thinks is morally right. Whereas, if you were to be a utilitarian who cares about the consequences, both actions would be morally right, because you'd save a child versus not saving a child. Am I gonna die in Oryx's castle? That would be sad. Real freaking sad. Okay. And to go along with learning about this fun, whatever, ethics, I don't know what the term is for type of ethics anyway. For learning about duty ethics is an article that I read on Wired called "Here's a Terrible Idea: Robot Cars with Adjustable Ethics." And so what the writer was talking about is currently there are, cars that are being driven, AI, self-driving cars. And what if we applied the trolley problem to them? So, for example, what if you were in a self-driving car and you came upon 5 people? You had 2 lanes, 1 lane covered by 5 people, 1 lane covered by 1 person. Which lane would the car swerve into? Probably, if you just do a cost analysis, the AI would probably swerve into the one lane with 1 person. But that's not the question here. The question is, if we were to give the car ability to have adjustable ethics, for example, any user would be able to choose what kind of ethical setting they want. So, for example, some may decide that the one that they don't want to handle stuff. They don't want to influence things, and they will allow the car to just go straight. Into the 5 people, they don't want to make the decision, actively make the decision to kill someone, even though you could say that not making the decision is also an action. So yeah, so giving the user adjustable, the ability to adjust ethics so as to remove the liability that the company has to face. But that doesn't work either, because in reality, the company can always be blamed for the fact. Wow, am I lagging crazy? This is just 3 levels. Oh crap, that boss probably would kill me. That guy is a boss. A legitimate boss. You can always blame the company for the fact that someone died, even if they gave you the ability to adjust ethics. Man, this is the only way I'll ever get sold out. Holy crap, I almost died. This is like some spooky stuff. Alright, I'm not gonna talk about this. I need to focus. If it died, lag is what I'm gonna do. Can we get like a shield of armor or something? So I can actually do damage to this guy. Oh. So letting the user select, the idea is that you let the user select a liability setting for the car so as to solve the liability, select an ethics setting so as to solve the liability that a company may face. And the writer says that that would not solve the issue either, because, for example, you let the user select their ethics, right? But what if the setting, but even within that ethics setting, you're giving the user the ability to discriminate. For example, they can choose between straights versus gays, or one race versus another race, or male over female, or age versus old versus young, all these ways to discriminate. And so that would not actually, by giving the user the ability to discriminate, you could also say they're still liable. Which is happens. Difficult. Works is done. Okay. So yeah, that wouldn't solve the issue either, according to the writer, which I tend to agree with. It would not solve the issue. Then let's pretend we just ignore the idea that the ethics setting didn't solve the issue, and let's just pretend it did. If we say it did, then it comes up with the issue of having the user take the responsibility for the ethics. So if you were to let the user take control of the ethics, that leads to the question of, by letting them choose who will potentially die, is this premeditated? This is premeditated, because you're before the action happens, you're choosing who lives, who dies, right? So it's premeditated, and the difference between manslaughter and murder is premeditation. And so they're two very different things. Or, well, not very different things, because people will die, but they're different in the fact that one is punished much more severely. And so if you let the user select their thing, then first you have to grapple with the idea that the users will know that they caused this person to die by selecting their ethics that they wanted the card to follow. And then there's the premeditation, what counts as murder, what counts as manslaughter, because you are premeditating that one person will die in that situation. Versus, say, what could happen in a non-automated car, where currently if we were to see a situation, we would, jerk the controls in such a way that a pet. It's so good. Oh, finally. Should I leave now? Get the pet out. I'll kill this and then I'll leave. Yeah. So for non-automated car, you could say you made a knee-jerk response to either save your life or to hit someone versus, say, sacrifice your life and not hit someone. And you'd still, feel bad about it, but you'd feel less like you deliberately made a change. You deliberately you deliberately valued your own life over others, right? Something like that. Level 1 magic heal. Alright, it's good enough, I guess. That is level 1 magic heal, better than no magic heal. Kinda. Yeah, so that pretty much summarizes the article I read. It's called Here's a Terrible Idea, Robot Cars with Adjustable Ethics. I forgot the guy who wrote its name, but you can look it up. I can look it up later. If I ever come back to listen to these. Alright, so in addition to that, I have one question that I need to answer for a pack back assignment so the question is, the summary the person gave was, how would Kant view other moral philosophies when they yield the same outcome? So probably very similar to the first article, the first situation I described. So Kant, I believe that Kant would view other philosophies as morally wrong, even if they yield the same outcome. So let's take, for example, the situation of a child drowning. And so Kant would argue that, Kant would say, a person going in whose only thoughts are on saving the child is morally right. Because his will and his duty are aligned perfectly. Whereas a egoist might say it is morally right to jump in to save the child because you know that you'll be a hero, and so you're acting in your own self-interest, and as such even though they yield the same outcome of a child being saved, one is morally right and one is morally wrong. The egoist way of viewing it is morally wrong, right? Or you could approach from probably maybe utilitarian. Utilitarian would say one extra child in the world would produce more benefit than no extra child than not having the extra child in the world. The potential would be there, so there'd be greater benefit or greater happiness. I don't know. I don't remember quite. I think it's greater happiness. Yeah, because otherwise, the child dies, the family feels unhappy. So those are all minuses, and then the plus is a little bit more food in the world, I guess. While if the child lives, the family will be happy. The community will celebrate the heroes, so they'll be happy, and the only minus would be a little bit less food. I think, at least that's what I can consider. So that's, oh wow. So that's pretty straightforward. Get all this free XP. Easy clap. Oh wait, a lucky gin. Oh. Let me just take my time here. Don't want to die. You don't know how many people I've seen die to Lucky Gin when it dies. Like, they rush right in and then that thing just murders them. I think I saw like 3 people die once due to it. It's hilarious. Although, probably one of the most useless dungeons I've ever seen. I have never picked up a single, well actually no, that's not true. I've never picked up a single useful thing in this dungeon. It's kinda awful. Dude, the fact that this guy needs a rush is kinda sad. Tier 12 armor is more than good enough to not need a rush. A character like mine needs a rush with tier 7 armor. That guy? Nah. Woo! Yes, sir. That's what I like to see. So the question also asks, if Kant would deem them immoral or unethical, could there be an instance where Kantian ethics and another moral philosophy agree that an act both agree that an act is moral? Okay. Could Kantian ethics agree on ethics? Okay, maybe, oh, I don't actually know that many, I only know the 2, so maybe egalitarian? Is that, no, it's, what is it called? So there's egoism, and then there was egalitarian, no, that's not it. Fudge. I forgot the name. Anyway, the one that deals with the consequences. call it anymore. Family. I've lost my mind. Give me a staff. Wait, where did everyone go? The F? Anyway, the one that deals with consequences. So. So Kant cares about whether the will and the duty align. So whatever the consequentialism people are, they would consider the will to be the most happiness. So that means that yeah, I can see that one aligning with Kant. Both of them agreeing that an act is moral. Philosophy, man. Why do I have to take this class? It's so awful. Talk about useless majors. Where are my snake pits? Okay. Spooky boy. Yep. Sewers. Alright. High roll, please. Holy, my health. Look at these speedies. Just dashing through everything. No regard for speed limits. XD. Alright. I'm gonna chill while this guy runs around like a madman. Somehow hasn't managed to find the way to the boss yet, which is surprising. And a bit. Oh. Wait, did this scrub just... What gear does he have? Oh, of course he does. Yes, O3 guy. O3 man. Just... Oh, is he gonna one-shot Steno before I can do enough damage? Yep. Doesn't help I can't freaking... Oh, I got it. Nice. Oh, it's utilitarianism. Right. I forgot. Would he match up with utilitarianism? Can't? Yeah. I think he'd be able to do it. If Kant would deem them immoral or unethical, could there be an instance where Kantian ethics and another moral philosophy could both agree that an act is immoral? Immoral or moral? Yes, because a person jumping into a river just solely whose sole purpose is to save a child. Kantian cares about the why you decide to do it, while utilitarianism just cares about the consequences. In both cases, utilitarianism would agree that it's moral because, you know, did the greatest benefit or greatest happiness, whatever the term is, was a result of you know, saving the child. But while Kant would say, you know, because you had both the will and the duty aligned, for your duty is to save the child, your will is also to just save the child, then because they both align, that it's morally right. And so both utilitarianism and Kant's ethics or duty ethics can both agree that an act is morally right. Alright, I think I'm gonna call it for a day. Ended a little bit early, but I think that's all I have. Bye.